What's up, you guys? SlimXTeamSymmetry here to bring you guys a new video today. Here to actually profile the deck that I used at YCS San Diego, the sealed format, Battle Pack Day 1. I ended up going X2 up till round 8, and then unfortunately I lost in time. I was out of my mind when that happened for the fact that there was nothing I could do the final turn of time. I had no way of reducing my opponent's life points. I only lost by 400 points, and it just drove me crazy. I really tried to make day 2. Unfortunately, things like that happen, especially when you go to time. I think going to time is the stupidest thing in this game, but, it's per the rules, so you have to abide by them, unfortunately. But I wanted to show you guys the deck that I used. I was actually quite happy with my pulls. I felt at first that I didn't have that great of a pool, but then as I started to read some of the monsters, I felt that I can make this work. I can construct a deck. I like building decks. I like putting knowledge that I have of the game into the stuff I build, and I really enjoyed the tournament overall because I thought that this is the one time where you weren't going to go up against Mermail, you weren't going to go up against Rabbit, Wind Up, anything like that. It was basically no holes barred when it came to the creativity of the decks, and a lot of people felt that if you pulled broken, you pulled broken. If you pulled decent, you pulled decent. I felt there was only 3 levels you could pull in this battle pack tournament, and that was you could either pull broken, playable, or complete shit. Because some people pulled really good cards, people pulled snatch steals, they pulled multiple change of hearts, they pulled ridiculous cards, they pulled a bunch of crazy ban cards, Happy Feathers Duster, Ring of Destruction. Ring of Destruction was the most devastating card of the weekend, along with Magical Cylinder, and a lot of people just felt that, if you didn't pull good, you weren't going to do well, but I wasn't going to discourage myself. I was going to go in and, do the best I can, and I felt very good. Going into round 9 with X2, I felt really good with the deck, and then unfortunately losing in time. We did try to draw, unfortunately it did not work out, but, that's how things go sometimes. But anyways, here's a deck box in case people hadn't seen it. It's really cool. I like it. It's numbered, so there was no way to cheat. Everything was completely organized. I got to give Konami props for that. So I was number 627. It's a deck box, really simple deck box, but, it's definitely a souvenir to keep. We'll just get into the deck real quick and let you guys see what I played. I played a 32-card deck. You'll see the reasons why. Most people said you should only play 30. I played 32 for the fact that I have ways to thin out my deck, so I'll just get to it real quick. So I'll start with the beaters. I was fortunate enough to pull Gores. This card is broken, obviously, in sealed. It's broken in general. I only dropped it about 4 times. 1 time was completely irrelevant. It got snatch stealed, but other than that, the card was amazing. I pulled Ambitious Gopher. I really like this card. People don't know what it does. It's 2400, 1 tribute. Once per turn, you can select up to 2 monsters on the field and destroy them. Your opponent can reveal a monster to negate the effect. This card is great because they don't negate and destroy the effect, so you can use it over and over again as long as this card's on the field, so it's really good. Yeah, it's up to 2, so that's really good. Mostly, you would never see more than 1 or 2 monsters on the field during a Battle Pack tourney. It just doesn't happen. So this card was great, and even if they negated, you got knowledge of what was in their hands, so I really liked it. Other tribute was Dark Ruler Hades. Absolutely love this card. This card was MVP against a lot of matches. I played a lot of people who set cards, and this card completely took care of them because it negated the effects of monsters destroyed by battle with fiend-type monsters you control. So this card was great. So that's it for my big tribute monsters. Rest of the engine, I was fortunate enough to pull Tour Guide. You guys already know. And I was fortunate enough to pull 2 targets. The first one being Dark Resignator. Shout out to Calvin the Kid. Loves this card. This card is amazing because it has to be destroyed twice in battle. So I really like this card a lot. And my other target was a card a lot of people didn't know was a Tour Guide target, including myself, and that is Gravactic Orb. It's a level 3 fiend. It also has an effect which I resolved once in Swiss. It's a flip effect that says change the battle positions of all face-up monsters your opponent controls. It was really good when I actually activated it because it switched to 1900 monsters to defense, and I ran it over next turn, so this card was really good. But mostly I would Tour Guide into Gravactic Orb and XYZ into Leviathan and keep the Resignator in the deck for times I needed to stall. So that was the Tour Guide engine. For Monster Destruction, I pulled a Snowman Eater, Old Vindictive Magician, and a Blastsphere. I included Blastsphere in the main deck because I really like its ability to destroy a monster and deal damage to the opponent. I actually won round 1 because of that, so this card was good. And these 2 are self-explanatory. Old Vindictive destroys monsters. Snowman Eater was amazing. So many 1900 beaters. I had a guy who tributed for Caius, destroyed my Swords of Revealing Light, and attacked into his Snowman Eater, and that's what won me the game because I just summoned a monster next turn and attack, so it was really, really good. That was it for Monster Destruction. On to my 1900 beaters, big beater monsters. I had Beast King Barbaros. I did resolve this effect to tribute 3 monsters and blow up the field twice. I thought it was awesome because there's no way to stop that outside of Solemn Judgment or Fiendish Chain. And when I tributed 3 monsters and destroyed the field, they had no response except, oh my god, I can't believe you just tributed 3 monsters for Barbaros. So it was a great feeling. And also I had Call of the Haunted, so I tried to Call of the Haunted this card as much as possible. Other beaters, Insect Knight. Botanical Lion, Card Guard, really good. I like that card. It goes to 19. Toon Gemini Elf. I wasn't sure why I main decked this at first. I guess it was for the fact that it was a 1900 beater. It couldn't attack the turn it was summoned. It did have the Spirit Reaper effect, but I honestly never really resolved it. But it was in there because it was a 1900 beater. And then the absolute, hands down, the #1 card of the weekend for a level 4 was Yaksha. It's a level 4 spirit monster, and it has the effect that, like all spirit monsters, it returns to your hand at the end phase. This card was broken, though, because of its other effect that you're able, when it's normal or flip summon, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls and bounce it, and basically target it and return it to their hand. Love this card so much. I won so many games because of it. I kept targeting the same card that they would set over and over and over again, and when I knew I was safe to push, I would push. This card was amazing. I bounced so many Fiendish Chains that were on my monster so that I could just push freely for game. This card won me so many games, and it was just an absolute just MVP of the entire deck. So that's it for like the 1900 beaters, big beaters, whatever you want to call them. I had to put in other monsters because I didn't want to be low on monsters, especially in a tournament where monsters were kind of key. The spells were good, the traps were decent, but you needed to have monsters or you were just going to get completely just destroyed. So I put in lower end monsters. I put in Chiron the Mage, 1800. I put in Zolga, which is effect I did resolve once. I attributed for Dark Ruler Hades in game 2000. I put in Abyss, King Shark. I wasn't sure why I put this in at first, and then I remembered that it's effect that if I attacked and they Mirror Force, they couldn't destroy it once per turn. If this card would be destroyed by an effect that doesn't target, it's not destroyed, so that was really good. Most of these were in here as well for to XYZ into rank 4s, so that's why they were here. Plus, the 1700 isn't that bad, 1800 is better, but you know, I needed more stable monsters in the main deck. And then the last lower end monster was Pitch Black Werewolf. This card was an MVP during one of my rounds. I equipped it with Axe of Despair and just attacked over everything. The opponent could not Mirror Force, the opponent could not do anything. They didn't have a Torrential or anything when I summoned it, so this card was absolutely amazing when I did summon it. So that's it for the monsters. Explanations why I ran them. Now on to the spells. I was fortunate enough to pull 2 Graceful Charity. A lot of people didn't believe I had 2 Graceful Charities in my deck. I verified it just to show them that I did. It was amazing. The thing, though, is that in retrospect, I should not have made 2 Graceful Charity. The reason being, I was talking to Simon He during the event, and he asked me how I pulled. I'm like, I pulled okay. And he's like, did you pull anything good? I'm like, I pulled 2 Graceful Charities. And he's like, oh, did you pull a Treeborn Frog or a Shield Warrior? And I was like, no. He's like, are you maining 2 Charities? I'm like, yes. He's like, you could end up decking out if you knock into a Morphing Jar, you knock into a Cyber Jar, and he was right. I was fortunate enough I did not deck out at all when I knocked into a Cyber Jar or anything. It didn't really hurt me that much, but Graceful Charity was only really good in sealed if you had like a Treeborn Frog or a Shield Warrior, like I mentioned, because those cards could be used in the graveyard later on, but I didn't have those cards. But I did use Charity as much as I could to dig to what I needed, and I would discard the lower end monsters. I also had combos where I would Charity into Beast King Barbaros, discard Barbaros, flip Call the Haunted, and it was at 3000. So this card was great, but in retrospect I probably should have ran only 1, because there would be times where if you activated 2, you might deck out if you ran into a Morphing Jar or a just Cyber Jar. A lot of people got those cards in multiples. On to the next spell. This card was my was probably my MVP spell of the entire 9 rounds. I used it as much as possible. I went into time 3 times, one of them being the last round, unfortunately. But in the other 2 rounds, I used this to win. When we were in the match procedure with 5 turns, when it became turn 3, it was my turn. I activated swords. There was nothing they could do. I even, like I said, got someone to bait. Someone Caius this so that they could attack, and they attacked into Snowman Eater. So this card was amazing. It was also good to stall for stuff when you need to get to other cards. So this card was really good. It's amazing in sealed. Like, it really is. Like, it's unbelievable. Another MVP in the deck was Dark World Shackles. A lot of people probably don't know what this is. Everyone knows how much I love Dark World, but this is a card that Dark Worlds don't use. But it's an equipped, and it says the equipped monster cannot attack. Its attack and defense become 100, and during each of my standby phases, I can inflict 500 to the controller of the equipped monster. I didn't use it so much for its burn aspect. I used it to stop the monster from attacking and to make it at the 100. Attack and defense, and I use this on a Big Shield Gardener, which was the best moment I had with this card, because Big Shield Gardener has 2600 defense. It's very hard to get over, even with tribute monsters, if you didn't pull Monarchs, like as you guys saw I didn't. So this card was really good. I'm really glad that I pulled that and I main decked it. Tribute to the Doom, 1-for-1 removal. You do discard a monster, but the remaining times I would Tribute to the Doom, discard Barbaros, flip Call. It was great. Being able to destroy face-down monsters, since I didn't have Shield Crush, was also crucial, and getting past big monsters was important, so that card was really good. I pulled the 1 MST, self-explanatory. You have to hold this card, though, in Battle Pack. You cannot set this unless you have multiples. People are lucky if they pulled multiples or Dust Tornado. I held this as much as possible because I only used it when I felt I needed it. I had this alongside Yaksha, and it made amazing plays. I would summon Bounce response one card, they had no response, MST the other card, and just go for game. So card was really good. And then my two favorite spells I pulled were Big Bang Shot and Axe of Despair, my attack modifiers. They won me so many games, I can't even begin to tell you guys. There was one point where I had a Dark Ruler Hades equipped with both of these, and it smacked into a Battle Fader that was dropped the turn before, so these cards were amazing. I won so many games because my monsters were huge with these cards. So attack modifiers are great in sealed. They really do make a difference. That's it for the spells, and on to the traps. I did pull Solemn Judgment. Solemn Judgment is Solemn Judgment. You guys already know it stops anything. I had a Solemn Judgment of Ryza because Ryza is devastating in sealed format, so card is really good. You guys already know for that final push you need Solemn Judgment. Call of the Haunted, like I said, I comboed it with Barbaros a lot to bring it out at 3,000. I would also use it when I knew I was going to tribute for a monster like Gopher or Dark Ruler Hades, so this card was really good, obviously. And I used it a lot when my opponents had Autonomous Action Unit where they paid 1,500 to target one of my monsters. They would target the monster, I'd flip Call of the Haunted and get it, so it worked out in that situation as well. Nightmare Wheel, everyone used this. This card was ridiculous, stopped the attack, they took burn damage, it was great. Self-explanatory. Prideful Roar, I absolutely love this card. I resolved it, I'm not kidding you, every single game I played. Every single game. It never got MST'd, it never got Dust Tornado, and I always used it. And there are a lot of people that didn't know what it was. I knew what it was because of Fire Fist, so this card was great overall. And then my last trap, which ended up changing the ruling, was Changing Destiny. Basically, the effect is that it switches a monster to defense, the monster can't change its position, and then your opponent selects one of the following effects, and they can gain life equal to half the target's attack, or your opponent takes damage equal to half the attack. We thought it was a win-win. We thought that there was no downfall to this card, but they ended up switching it to like the complete opposite, to where your opponent would gain life or you would get burned. We thought it was the other way around, and then they changed it round 4, so I always sided this card out. It wasn't really that good after that, but I mean, leading up to that, it was good. So that's it for my main deck. It was 32 cards. It was really good. Like I said, I went X2 up till round 9, and then I lost, unfortunately, in time by 400 points, which really sucked, but, you know, it happens. The rest of the side deck is kind of irrelevant. I didn't really use anything. The only card I sided in, which I wish I had main decked, was Miracle's Wake. Basically, when a monster is destroyed by battle during the turn, you can Miracle Wake it back. It's like a premature without the cost, so it's really good. I use it with Barbaros as much as possible, or with Hades, not with Hades, but with Gopher. Hades you can't, special from the grave, but Miracle's Wake was good, so this is usually the other card I sided in. The other cards I pulled are irrelevant. I'll just show them to you guys real quick. I didn't side in any of these. I didn't feel the need to. Parshath is not that good. So many flip effects destroy monsters that this card was not that good. You may get a draw, but it's really not that good in the sealed format. I was glad I didn't main deck it at all. I never had a situation where I wanted to tribute for this card. And the rest of these cards are relevant. I didn't use Dark Death Spirit. I sided in once. It did nothing for me. I never sided it again. So many of my opponents set monsters. There were barely any times I had opponent's monsters attacking me, so I felt that I didn't need it, and I really didn't. There was no situation that would have helped me, and that's the end of my side deck, because the rest of the cards are your side deck. So that's my 50 card pool, and just my extra deck. The only two cards I summoned were Gemini Pearl and Leviathan. I never summoned Zenmeister or Greenosaurus. I had no need for them. Leviathan was good because very hard for the opponent to get past 2,500, like turn 1 with Tour Guide, and Gemini Pearl just got over everything, so those cards were good. But yeah, that's the entire thing. My losses were, I went 3-0, and then I lost round 4 to my friend Nick, who actually got top 4 with Wind Up in the event. You know, shout out to you. Congratulations on getting that far. Really great guy. Had a great match. Had a lot of fun actually playing. He cylindered me for game. It was, you know, it was crazy, but, you know, I had a great match with him. He's a great guy. You know, shout out to him for top 4ing with Wind Up. And I also lost, ironically, to the champion, YCS champion, Angel. You know, shout out to him for winning. You know, great accomplishment. Really cool guy. We had a great match. He had amazing pulls. He had Forbidden Lances. He had Fiendish Chains. He had a lot of great stuff. He had Ryza. He had Gene Warped Werewolf. We had another great game, and it was great. When he won, came out, and I'm like, man, you beat me in Swiss. And then he ended up winning the event. You know, gave me the profile. It was, you know, just a great experience. So those are my losses. And then, like I said, I lost in time. But overall, I had a great experience. I really enjoyed the event, and I thought it was just something that I would like to do again if the situation ever came up where they would have another sealed event. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the profile. I want to give a couple shout outs. Of course, to my brother Vexy. Him and I worked tirelessly to get the profiles for you guys. We got as many as we could. Unfortunately, we couldn't get all of them, but we got as many as we could, and the rest of them will be up on the channel. If you haven't seen the majority of them already, we will get DN scans of the decks we couldn't get because some of the players left and we just were unable to get everyone. Shout out to Team Chaos 19, my friend Brian and his team, a bunch of great guys from SoCal. He got in on a couple of the profiles with me. It was great. His friend William Montez and teammate, I ended up getting top 4 with Macro Rabbit. That was the Macro Rabbit you guys saw that we recorded on the streets, like true Yu-Gi-Oh bosses recording on the streets. It was great. I really enjoyed that profile, and I really enjoyed just, you know, hanging out with them, talking to them. Really good players from SoCal. And shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh Memes. I got to meet up with them, and Chris and I were recording some of the profiles. You guys will see that on their channel as well. You know, go and check them out. They come out with some of the best, craziest memes I've ever seen. Like, I read them and I'm like, oh my god, like, you know, how did I not think of that? You know, it's crazy. But really just great thing they got going on there. So, you know, shout out to them. And the last shout out I want to give is to TCS Cards. It's a card shop in Bellflower, California. I got to meet Caesar, the owner, and some of the players that go there, and they're just really cool guys, and it was great, you know, just to hear about a card shop that, you know, is really trying to give back to the players and really trying to, you know, just make it great for all the people that go there. So I wanted to give them a shout out. I unfortunately am not someone that goes there for the fact that I live in NorCal, but if I'm ever in SoCal, I'll definitely visit TCS Cards, and I hope you guys will, you know, bring them some business. They're a bunch of great guys, and, you know, I wish them the best of luck in their ventures as a card shop. But anyways, that's the whole profile, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, thumbs it up. If I got anyone in the shoutouts, I apologize, but I just had an overall great experience at YCS San Diego, and I hope that there are more sealed events in the future. But anyways, you know, leave your thoughts on my deck. Do you think I pulled decent? Do you think I pulled crap? Do you think I pulled broken? You know, whatever you guys think I pulled, you know, let me know. I just wanted to share the deck with you, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And of course, shout out to ARG. It was great to see everyone again, and this is a mat that you guys might be able to win. I'm going to be having a contest very soon, and this will be one of the prizes along with other mats, binders, and some other cool stuff from ARG. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs it up, and thank you for watching.